Foul territory, spring training tour engineered by Fastenal. Moving over to Diamondbacks camp. We're live starting off the show with Zac Gallen. Zac, great to have you on, man. And here, you're back. So you had a little wild ride in the offseason, but after all that, it's probably got to be nice to be with a team where you're quite familiar. You don't have to have anyone tell you where to go and get lost out there, right?
This is true. I remembered how to get here. I remembered where I was going. Everybody who works here's name. So yeah, it was nice. I think for me, selfishly, it was nice, but unselfishly for my wife and just family and everybody, I think that was a huge part in it too.
Zac, I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. What took so long? I think you're a great pitcher. You've had great years. What took so long, and how bad did the qualifying offer hurt? Because I thought you'd be one of those guys that would be scooped up quickly because there's a lot of teams that need starting pitching.
Yeah, I think what took so long, I can only guess that it was a not great first half mixed with the qualifying offer. Was kind of a recipe for disaster in that sense. But it is what it is. We kind of had an idea that something like this could happen. It was unfortunate, but we're happy to be back somewhere that means a lot to us and somewhere that we feel comfortable. So yeah, we'll see what happens after this year.
How's your mindset right now on pitching on a 1-year deal? Do you like kind of having that where it's going to keep you locked in throughout the entire year, kind of because you're pitching for that next contract? So does that separate you all, or would you like that kind of certainty and kind of that comfortability that comes with a contract to relax and just go out and pitch?
Yeah, I think that it's a multifaceted answer to that. I think I like the just motivation of pitching on a 1-year deal.
Sure.
I had always said that when it got to that point in my career, if I was in a position to sign a long-term deal, I don't want to be the guy that year 2 or year 3 into that deal, it's like, oh, this was a terrible deal. So
yeah.
But at the same time, like we play this game and we understand that there's a opportunity cost to it and there's risk to it. So to have the security would have been nice. But we had some offers for deals that offered a little bit more security, but we just didn't feel like it was the correct value. So
Absolutely.
We'll go back and try it again. And I feel like I have a multitude of things to prove this year.
I love it. Know your worth.
Zac, how confident does it make you that your agent, Scott Boras, when he's done these type of deals, has then gone on with Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, Alex Bregman, the list goes on and on of guys, Pete Alonso, another one, that they've signed these 1-year deals and then boom, the next year they go out and they hit free agency and they get the deal they were originally looking for?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that tends to work out. I think Scott every offseason has a client, like me or somebody, one of those guys, Chapman, Snell, Bregman, who quote unquote is the odd man out or whatever it is. And, Scott catches a lot of crap about, oh, how did he do this? How he should have known better. It's like the guy's not clairvoyant. He can't, see the future. But at the same time, the following year, those guys go out, they produce, and they get the contract that they were looking for. So it was really nice this offseason to work out with Bregman and Chapman and get pretty close to those guys who have gone through it and understand, what it looks like and just kind of offer some feedback to me. And both those guys are really helpful. I know Blake fairly well. I know Pete decently well too. So just have those guys be like, hey, listen, just trust in the process. You'll be fine. You're going to go out and just, be healthy and show everyone you can do. And, come this time next year, you're going to be in a lot better spot.
Now, you kind of mentioned last year that there was kind of the tale of two halves a little bit for you. Clearly saw you kind of get dialed in on the second half and really kind of find that old groove that we're kind of used to seeing out of you. Is there something you changed? Is there anything, or is it just kind of finding old habits that started to work again?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of different things. I think there was the delivery got a little bit cleaner. It wasn't great. Got a little bit cleaner. I got a little bit more consistent in that sense to be able to kind of strike pitches in the strike zone. The shape started to get back together. I think just the motivation too of like, okay, I didn't have a great first half. I am still here. I have something to prove, and then I also think I got, in a sense, I don't want to say lucky, but I think there was some parts where in the first half I was giving up that big hit, that big homer,
unlucky in a sense,
unlucky that I was like, okay, now I'm not giving up that 3-run homer. The pitch I make, I'm getting the guy to pop up or whatever it is. So I think it was a lot of different things, but I feel like we were trending in the right direction and made some decent adjustments this offseason.
I don't think
consistent.
The average fan also realizes you can change nothing and have completely different results. One day it works, one day it doesn't. One day your swing feels like $1 million and you can't get a hit, and other days you feel like crap. Don't change anything, but just that's the game of baseball. So sometimes it goes on differently. But you go into this offseason, you have to wait a little bit. What was that like for you? How was it handling it? And just was it a growing frustration? Was it, or do you just like, I got to get ready like business as usual for spring training coming up? I just don't know where it's going to be yet.
Yeah, it was definitely a different offseason in that sense of the uncertainty. I think what really helped is that my wife and I got married this offseason. So
congratulations.
Thank you. That took a lot of our concentration away from free agency for the first.
Nice distraction.
Exactly. It was a distraction pretty much through the new year. Like we got married in the beginning of December, and we were riding that high. We just got married, honeymoon, all these things like holidays. And then for me, I kind of understood that mine was probably going to be the slowest, just because the tale of two halves and the qualifying offer, all these things. So not until like February was it we didn't think it would take this long. But yeah, it was weird. It was a weird situation, but I'm pretty stoic when it comes to those things. So it's kind of like good. It is what it is. It was the unfortunate part of it. And we got to the point where we were trying to weigh, like, at what point is it worth holding out for a deal with a little bit more security as opposed to going into a spring training and being behind. We've seen what that's done to some guys, and I didn't want to be that guy. So we just got somewhere with Arizona where we felt like it was a fair deal, and here we are.
Hey, is your wife from Jersey? Since you were giving her all the Jersey love earlier before we came on, is she from Jersey?
Or no, my wife is from out here. No, it's okay. Okay. It's okay to marry outside of New Jersey. My wife is from out here. She born and raised in Phoenix. So that was another big part of us wanting to stay here, is that
that makes sense.
Her being from here and us just being comfortable with this community in this area.
Is that why you pitch so well when you go northeast? Because you're just such a Jersey Shore kind of guy, with
He's just going to keep digging this knife in.
This and that, like.
I'm not a Jersey Shore guy. What you think of Jersey Shore is not the Jersey Shore. Let's get that square.
What?
Yeah. Like 90% of those people on that show are not even from New Jersey,
or Earth.
Yeah, that too. Don't get me wrong. When I was in high school, I loved watching that show. But I will say, after taking visits to college, and you get there, and you're like, "Oh, you're from New Jersey," and like, "Oh, do you know Snooki?" Like that does get a little old after a while. So. Keep pouring it on, AJ, but I'm fine. I'm good. Don't worry about me. I can handle it.
Zach, don't worry. AJ obviously is Mr. Florida, but he also was born in the Hamptons, which us Jersey folk look at as very, very bougie.
Oh, you're a silver spoon. You're a silver spoon guy.
It's the place the Jersey people can't go, so it's okay. We
they
love
don't
it
let us in.
Did you wear 2 collared shirts at the same time, AJ?
Yes, with the quarter zip over them.
Yes. Last one for you, Zach. I want to ask about a teammate. So did you follow the Ketel Marte saga throughout the offseason? And did you think at some point, obviously you were going through your own free agency situation, but did you think he was going to get traded? And now that he's not, and he's basically going to be a Diamondback for as long as he wants because he's got the no trade clause that kicks in like a week into the season. What did you think of all of that? And then also the way that Mike Hazen handled it on the back end, talking to him, being like, okay, you're good. We're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I think if you are in baseball or follow baseball at all, it was hard to not see Ketel's name be out there. He was the most popular and probably desirable player that was put on the trading block. I think it's great that Ketel is going to be here. He's the best second baseman in baseball. He's probably the most underrated superstar in baseball, if not one of the most underrated superstar talents in baseball. So I think it's good. I think he's going to make our team that much better. I think knowing Ketel, he's motivated by things like that. So I think you're going to see an even better version of himself. Now, on the flip side of the business side of that, I understand what Hayes was trying to do. It was like, okay, like maybe let's see if we can fill some other holes with this player here. So I don't fault him in doing that. And then just, he was professional about it from what I understand, telling Cattell, like, hey, you were out there, this is why, but now you're not anymore. Like, let's go out and let's focus on 26. So from an outsider's perspective, that's how I viewed it. So I'm glad that he's still here. It's a lot better having him on the team than having to face him.
I like it. Well, we're gonna let you go here. We're gonna keep you in your time limit that we got you for.
Let's see. Did you guys?
Wow,
you're 1 minute over.
You're 1 minute over. We'll cut it 1 minute short next time.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for being with.
Health
Thanks, Zach. We always love having you on, man. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you during the season. All right. Thank you. Good. All right, that's Zac Gallen in Arizona. It's the spring training tour engineered by Fastenal. AJ and me taking over for a moment while Kip gets set. Fastenal, where industry meets innovation. Look at what we've done already. A lot. AJ here, just for a quick breather, he just wanted to do one show next to me, and then Arizona and San Francisco will hit the Diamondbacks today, the rest of the day, and then the Giants camp tomorrow with Kip. We go next week to our Florida stops for the next 3 weeks, really. Cardinals, Marlins, Mets, Nats, and Astros on the docket next week, and then we'll give you the rest if you're listening on the podcast feed. If you look on our socials or on YouTube, you can check all of that out. Oh, yeah, I brought the props today because we're both in here. So,
out of all the things I ever thought I'd own in my life, I never thought that I would have a squishy Fastenal vending machine it's got all kinds of wires and I don't even know, pliers and all kinds of cool stuff in this little vending. I just wish I could press the button. Like when you're at the airport and you need a quick snack and you hit the button and the wrong thing spins out and pops out. Can you imagine? You're like, I need a hammer. And then all of a sudden, like wires drop out. I'd be like, I need that hammer now.
I pressed C4. I'm at C14.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually really into this, though. Like vending machines that don't just pump out food. This is a vending machine that can help you get the job done on the construction site or at home or at your business. Fastenal. Plus, we have this. Don't touch this. But no. Don't touch
it. By the way, not to change the subject, and as much as we love Fastenal, the other day I saw a vending machine and it would cook for you. So it had like it had like 10 different things, and it would say wait time 3 minutes. It was like spaghetti and meatballs. And then it was like grilled chicken or whatever it was. And it was it was like $12, and it would actually, I don't know what it did in there, but it would cook the food and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
I've seen those.
I didn't eat it, but it looked cool.
I've seen those. Yes. Vending machines can do anything these days. Here's your best example. Okay, let's talk biz. Let's charge. Charging the mound. Hey, Max Scherzer's back, Kip. So here's a guy that you faced probably pretty frequently in your career.
Sure have.
And he's still trying to get the job done in the big leagues. I mean, he had a really up and down season last year. He's been going through it, but then he pops up and pitches valuable innings in the playoffs for the Blue Jays. So it's a unique contract, 1 year, $3 million, $10 million in incentives. What happens is he gets $1 million if he hits the 65 innings pitched threshold. Also has no trade protection, by the way. Every 10 innings after that, he gets $1 million. So it's incentivized for him to pitch. At the same time, Max is rich, Kip, and I don't think he's worried about that. He just wants to go out there on the team side to just get some protection because he has been through quite a bit injury-wise, thumb issues that have plagued him for the previous 3 seasons. And I guess that has also spilled into causing soreness in his arm and his shoulder. He said that the shots in his injured thumb were making it difficult for him to pitch deep into games and causing him to miss time. But then, of course, he pops up in the postseason, 3-7-7 and 3 October outings, started Game 7, held the Dodgers to 1 run in 4 1/3, kept them in the game. I mean, he gave them their money's worth just in a unique way. So what do you think about Max joining the Blue Jays again and giving them depth whenever he is able to pitch? They are in good shape right now. They have like 6 or 7 starters as it is.
I like it a lot. I think, like you just hinted on, I don't think it's for the money. Max doesn't need the money. He's certainly made more than enough in his career. This is a guy who just can tell. I think he knows he has at least 1 more year left in his body and love for the game and wants to go out there and play. I think he, from the sounds, all things in considering, Toronto and the group that they have there is a very fun place to play. I think he really liked the guys and the team. And it gives him, with the depth of the starting rotation, it gives him a little bit of time to build back into it. He doesn't have to be an every fifth day guy. And going to the World Series, he likes where he's at and wants to run it back with them. And I think your body can break down, and it certainly does the older you get. But I think the playoffs and a competitor of the level that Max is, that adrenaline. So I'm not surprised at all that his success comes back to him in the playoffs again. And I think that's what they're counting on one more time is when that adrenaline hits, that playoff baseball hits, there's not too many guys you like handing the ball off or you feel good about handing the ball off more than Max Scherzer in his career.
He was great in the postseason last year. I mean, everyone was like, why is he starting? And then, boom, he goes out and delivers some great games for him and almost got him another World Series. People forget he was on Texas in 23 when they won, right? He's got 2 rings, right? Because 19 with Washington and 23 with the Rangers. So why is he doing this? Look, I know Max very well. I saw him this offseason.
Was he Nationals with Strasburg?
Yeah, it was him and
19.
Corbin. It was Strasburg,
Yeah.
Scherzer, Corbin were the 3 that led that staff to that World Series in 19. So, but I played golf with Max this offseason, and he was like, I want to go back to the Blue Jays. I mean, he pretty much said it. He's like, I want to go back to the Blue Jays. And why? Why do you want to go back to the Blue Jays? Just the atmosphere, the way they treated him and his family, everything about the Blue Jays was where he wanted to be. And he said, if this is my last year, I want to go out on a team that I like, the players I respect, and all the things, and a winning team, a team that has a chance to win. Well, he got his wish. Was it the money he wanted? I don't think he needs the money. He's got like $300 million in the bank with about $200 million of it deferred, right, Scott? So I think that this is a great place for him. And if this is his last year, Max, I tip my cap to you, man. You're one of my favorite dudes of all time. You're one of my favorite people to interview, and you're one of my favorite people to play against because of the intensity you showed. You got me out. It was respectful. I got a hit off you. It was respectful. It was always just a fun battle. So if this is it, and this is where the way he goes out, good for you, Max. I hope you're healthy and give him a full year. And if a full year for you only means 20 starts and 4 of those come in the postseason again, let's go.
Yeah. Postseason wins are worth a lot of money. If Max is going to give you some innings in the postseason and they're effective innings like last year, it's worth something. The intensity, too, is really fun to watch. As a fan, appreciate this. It could be the last year of Max. So as a fan, check out starts or just games sometimes where Max is in the dugout and he looks lit and he's running around and he's fired up. And then, if he gets, if he tries to get taken out of a start where he's feeling it, you might have to, duck or wear a helmet. Be careful, right?
It takes you a little bit to get used to it as a competitor. As going against him, it's like you think he's screaming at you on the mound, which there probably are times where he is, but like he's kind of just talking to himself. You see this guy that is just circling the mound, talking loud, coming with it, and he's just all intense. And you're like, you have to kind of choose which way you want to react to it. Where it's like you're like, buddy, what are you doing? Calm down, but you can't because if you take that route, he's already got you where he wants you. So you kind of have to meet him head on with the intensity, and you'd be like, all right, let's do this then. So he makes the game of baseball better just the way he approaches it himself. But he is a competitor through and through and has been a bulldog on that mound for years, and he has been a pleasure to watch.
He's got a bunch of kids. So one of them I know is a competitor and was trying to line all of this up, and she got her wish. This was cute. We're going to throw this out there. So this post by M.A. Sway. Back in December, is that Max's wife maybe posting on there? Back in December, Brooke wrote this letter. This is his 8-year-old daughter. Put it in an envelope and asked, the Scherzer fam to mail it to the Blue Jays. And now she gets her wish. Last season had an amazing impact on the Scherzer family, and they're very excited to be back. So she wrote, Dear Blue Jays, I am so sorry that you didn't win the World Series. I hope that you win next time. I hope my dad is back on the team. My whole family loves spending time in Toronto with our dad. We loved the aquarium, CN Tower, and of course the stadium. I'm looking forward to coming back next season. Love, Max Scherzer's daughter. That's good.
That's awesome. That's she got her wish.
She got her wish.
Kids always win out.
That's a really nicely put together note too. Like appropriately, I apologize. I feel bad that you guys didn't win. So I'm thinking about you. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you again. And there it is.
There she is.
Yeah.
I mean, we said that's probably why he signed back there. I think you hear stories how well they're treated and how well the group gets along with each other. The wives get along with each other. You hear stories maybe about other organizations where they just don't treat the families as well or something like that. So that's not nothing. When you start to find out some organization really takes care of its own and really does things the right way, that's definitely not nothing when people are looking at where to sign.
Now let me ask you this. Will Max pitch in April?
I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no as well.
Okay, that I ask because it sounds like he could be eased into the season and you're careful with innings and workload and trying to make sure that you get him to his best place by October. Of course, the Blue Jays need to make the playoffs. I mean, they were a very good team last year. It's a very competitive division. The reason I bring it up is Gossman's in the rotation. Dylan Cease was signed. Trey Savage, the rookie, in there. Jose Barrios coming back. Cody Ponce was signed. Shane Bieber is eventually going to come back. They have options here. And if they don't suffer significant injuries over the next few weeks, they technically don't have a spot for Max. Or you have, I guess, a 6-man and you got to get crafty.
I think they'll figure out a way to get Max in there. I don't know that at the beginning of the year, because he's already late to camp. I know it's not that late to camp, but he's already a couple weeks behind. So I think they're going to take it slow with Max and make sure he's ready. And then, you know what's funny is these things always play out. Remember last year we said, oh, the Dodgers have 12 starting pitchers, and they barely scraped through at the end, right? Every year. And then the Blue Jays had a bunch of starters, and they threw guys in the bullpen, and they used guys, and then Barrios was hurt, and he didn't show up to the World Series. And there's all these things, and these things all work themselves out one way or another. It's crazy, Kip. It's always like, we have too many outfielders. And then the first week in spring training, something happens where an outfielder goes down or gets traded or something. It always seems to work its way out.
It works its way out, and I'll say if Toronto doesn't make the playoffs, it will not be because Max Scherzer didn't throw in April.
No doubt. And the smart teams know that you need to load up, and it's not easy to do, AJ. If you have, say, 7 or 8 big league starters, you still have to figure out what you're doing with them at the start of the year, right? I mean, if you're a good team, you need at least that in terms of guys that you feel really good about. I'm not talking about other guys that could emerge throughout the season from the minor leagues. But if you do have 8 starters, some of them might not feel comfortable going to the bullpen. Max Scherzer's not pitching out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays during the regular season.
No. I mean, he might, though. He
You
might.
think so?
He might. Listen, he might. Well, you just don't know. I mean, they can't hold him down forever. They can't just say, he's in rookie ball or whatever and stay in Dunedin forever. He's going to have to pitch, and if there's not a spot available, then maybe he's the long guy. I don't know. They'll figure it out. That's all I'm going to say. They didn't sign him, put him on. I mean, it's a big league deal he signed. He didn't sign a minor league deal.
No.
So, I mean, he's going to be on the team. They got to have to use him at some point.
They're just pretty
They have a
lined
plan
up
for
right
him.
now. Yeah, things
And
change.
trust me, one thing we know about Max from having him on this show multiple times, Max didn't go into this blindfolded. It's not like he went into this and was like, I just want to sign no matter what. I guarantee you he's had talks with the Blue Jays, and they said, Max, here's your role. Here's how many starts you're going to get, and we'll go from there.
All right, so the Blue Jays add a little more. They've actually spent the most this offseason, more money than the Dodgers. Blue Jays ruining baseball.
Wow.
Yeah, they've spent the most money this offseason. On the
I wonder
money
how many
front,
average fans know that or would be surprised by that.
I know several thousand more now.
I know. Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it's just assumed that you'd think the Dodgers, but it's,
Blue Jays have spent more money. Yeah, it's somewhat close, but definitely Blue Jays. It's like in the
interesting that
mid-300s.
the teams that win get to spend more money too, that they've made a little bit more money. Kind of maybe,
Wild concept.
Wild concept there.
Yeah. I mean, there's an article that seemed quite believable that they made over $100 million profit. So reinvest that bad boy back into the team. When I say they spent mid 300s, that's over the course of guaranteed contracts, not all just for next year. They didn't boost their payroll in 26 by $350 million. It's spread out.
Takes money to make money.
Exactly. So good for Toronto. They are feeling themselves right now, heading into a season where it's going to be a gauntlet in the AL East, but little pitching depth here with Max Scherzer. All right, let's get to Leo. We'll take a quick World Baseball Classic check. Highest ticket, we're looking at trends for the World Baseball Classic, which technically starts middle of next week. And then the first games in the United States are next week on Friday. USA is getting 35.5% of the ticket. Japan, 30.3%. And the Dominican Republic, 15.3%. It was cute. I heard you guys the other day trying to learn the difference between ticket and handle when I wasn't on. That was
we
really
needed
cute.
you that day.
Was that Trisha or Alana? I think it was Trisha.
I think it was. I still don't know the difference.
You guys were like, ticket handle. Okay,
so
nice
explain,
and simple
Scott.
here. Ticket bets, right? So I can place, let's say 10 bets were placed on the WBC winner, and 8 of them were placed on the USA. That means 80% of tickets were placed on USA.
Okay.
To me, ticket is cool to just show the quantity and how many different people are placing, but obviously handle is where the heavy money goes. I like looking at both because handle also is going to be the heavy hitters in what they're doing, right? Like there are guys that are slowing down. Yeah. So I like to see both. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So now on.
So the handle is the money spent. The tickets are how many people. So like there could be 1 million people that buy a $5 ticket.
Correct.
For $5 million, but there could be 10 people that spend $10 million, and
Correct.
that's a higher handle.
Yeah. So if it's $10 million that was thrown on WBC winners, and let's say 8 million of that was thrown on USA, then we're at the 80% again. So one's looking at money, one's looking at ticket quantity.
Okay.
So this is ticket quantity.
And it's mostly USA. Can we show that again?
But actually, the thing to point out here is Japan is getting a lot of love as well. And I pointed
because
this out
they've won
yesterday.
3 of these things.
And there's good value there. So if you're placing a $20 ticket, it doesn't get you a long way on Team USA when they're minus. They've been hanging around, minus 110, 120, 130.
I actually like the Dominicans' chances.
I do too.
Because there's one thing that they have. I don't know how the brackets match up, but I like the way that they're like they wouldn't. I don't think they'd have to see USA maybe till semifinals, or Japan maybe to the semifinals. So I think they can go a long way until they. I don't know exactly how I got to look. I'll dig in next week when I start preparing for this.
Yeah,
but I think Dominican because they play where they play, and then they play. And then when they play in Miami, while the U.S. is still in Houston for the quarterfinals, am I right? And then they come together in Miami for the semis?
I don't remember who faces who in the semis if we get to that point. I got to do my homework on the bracket side too. But I did do this last night. I was looking at what the rotation will be for the pool stage for them. Their first 4 games, here's their rotation for the Dominican. Christopher Sanchez, Luis Severino, Brian Bayo, Sandy Alcantara. It's a good 4.
Wait, say that again.
Christopher Sanchez, Luis Severino, Brian Bayo, Sandy Alcantara.
That's pretty good.
It's a really good 4.
Yeah. I mean, it's not skiing Scooble, but it's pretty darn good.
But I think that 4 might just go in rotation for the most part. Pitch, they might give them the 3 starts. I think you can kind of pull off in this tournament.
2. You can get 2 maybe. They're
2 starts.
You get 3.
Well, because it's over. You're right. It's over 11-ish days because they start on Friday. Yeah. So 2 starts from them, but you rack that back or you plan that. I mean, make sure you. The tricky thing is, it's like quarterfinals. Do you throw your best starter out there? Do you save them for semis or for finals? Some of it has to do, of course, with the rest and recovery days. But that's a good 4. I mean, those guys can pitch in do or die games and shut you down.
Did Japan or Dominican get hit at all with that? With guys not being able to play from insurance standpoints? Did that hit their
I think
roster
every
at all?
team got hit a little bit. Every team technically got hit a little, and we don't know all of the players, but they didn't get hit like Puerto Rico or even Mexico, as far as I know. So the Dominican team is stacked. Like, those are 4 good starters. Their lineup is sick. Their lineup can keep up. I mean, their lineup is as good as the – or
they'll always have a nasty lineup.
By the way,
yeah,
interesting. I know people are going to say whatever they want to say on this, but if you look at the 4 pools –
yeah.
Right, so U.S. has Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, Brazil. They should win that pool. I mean, obviously, barring major upset. But then if you go to Pool A, it's Puerto Rico, Cuba, Canada, Panama, Colombia. They've kind of set it up for a little bit of an easier path for them because they wouldn't play the other side of the bracket till the finals, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the bracket, Pool C, is Japan, Australia, Korea, Czech, and Taipei. Okay, Japan.
That's Japan.
Korea, probably, okay?
Yeah.
But then you go Venezuelan, Dominican, Israel, Nicaragua. Like, okay, Venezuelan, Dominican, fine.
Those are two of the top 4 teams in one pool.
But then those 2 teams have to play each other. So Japan, Korea, Venezuela, and Dominican have to play each other in the quarterfinals. The winners and losers, they play each other.
Right.
And then you get to the semifinals where Dominican, Venezuela, Korea, Japan have to, 2 of those will have to play to get to the finals. Whereas USA could be like playing like Puerto Rico without Lindor, Correa, and all those guys. Canada without Freddie Freeman and all those guys. Cuba with Alexi Ramirez, who's 72 years old, playing shortstop for him. I mean, it's just interesting when you look at, now that I've looked at it, it's like, whoa, okay.
We're going to spend a lot of time on this. It's interesting the way the tournament's set up, and then you get to do or die, of course, after pool play. So, hey, we also, of course, have March right around the corner. So if you're a bettor and you're on the BetMGM app, you can potentially win a chance to go to Vegas for a VIP trip to the Court of Legends event featuring those 2 on the screen, the Cavender twins, stars in the college basketball world and now influencer extraordinaires. One of 25 grand prize packages to go out to Vegas. They'll do a skills competition, all kinds of cool speakeasy kind of events going on over there. For more info and how to join this leaderboard challenge, go to betmgm.com. or check out your BetMGM app to opt in and start getting after it. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Drey Jameson is here. Drey, thank you for joining us. Appreciate the time. I want to start here. So you've been in the organization for a bit, and this offseason there were a lot of question marks, like is Gallen coming back? Merrill Kelly coming back? Is Ketel Marte going to get traded? They're all here. So does it feel kind of like, hey, we thought we might say goodbye at the end of last season, and now everybody's back, the band's back together here in camp?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we brought those guys back as, frontline guys and guys that, aren't just good on the field, but they're good clubhouse guys. They're good guys that, keep everyone molded and, they lead by example. And, as a young player in the game and, trying to get established in the big leagues, like having those guys around are huge help.
Drey, before we dig deep into this, can you look right at the camera, a little bit to your right, I think it is. Right there.
Yeah.
Because that hat in your eyes are one of the best matching things I've ever seen in my life. So I don't know if you called the Diamondbacks and said, match my eyes to this color, but holy crap.
That's funny.
AJ, it's 8 a.m. He didn't expect to be hit on by you yet, so give him a sec to wake up. I'm just saying, listen, I agree. Gorgeous man. Give him a sec to wake up before he responds.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it matches unbelievably perfect. It's like he planned it that way or something when he was drafted in the first round by the Diamondbacks.
That's why I picked here, man.
Right. There you go.
He took a discount just for the colors.
Yeah, the quote from AJ. Drey's eyes are ridiculous right now.
I mean, seriously, I'm sorry. He was talking. I was just like, wow, it's amazing. But anyways, let's get the ball. How are you feeling? How's your elbow? How's your arm? How's everything going?
Yeah, it's good. With the whole Botox situation and getting that under control and going to get that before everything started ramping up, to be more preventative on the year is, I think, a huge step for me, just because that gives me a clear mind of, it worked in the past, and I don't know if we actually needed to get it again, but I wanted to be more preventative because I'm tired of being on the IL, and anything I can do to stay on the field is I'm going to do.
Hey, can you follow up and explain more? I know you said the whole Botox situation for most of our crowd, just to explain like what that is and how that helps.
Yeah, so I was having a little bit of elbow soreness, kind of some pinching on the backside of the elbow, and kind of didn't know the full details on exactly what it was. And we tried a couple things, cortisone shots, and that didn't work. And then we went more towards Botox to free up the scalenes in the pec minor, to see if it will let the nerves or whatever. I really don't know either myself, but I was told Botox could help. So we tried Botox back in, I think, August. And then, everything cleared up from that. I wasn't having any elbow pains. And
where would they inject it?
So I got injected in both my scalenes in my neck, and
So
then
they go up here for an elbow problem.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So it's more of like relaxing because all your nerves are running from your brain down to whatever. I don't know. I'm not too advanced in that situation, but
we'll stick to playing, both of us.
Yeah. Well, they use that stuff for
How did they come up with?
too.
I want to know how they came up with Botox though, because people at one point Botox was used so you didn't stink, right? So you would they used it originally so you wouldn't sweat too much, and then now all the women and Scott use it in their forehead to keep them from wrinkling, right? So now we're using it for elbow injuries
and migraines.
Oh, and migraines too.
I heard a commercial yesterday about it.
This is like the new Ozempic. It's like the wonder drug that everyone has to take.
And in Scottsdale, man. So I fit right in. You
had the top doctors out here in Scottsdale to get the Botox out of here. I think that reminds me, AJ, have you ever done any like acupuncture?
Oh, dude, what? No. Like I never did. I'm sorry. I've never done acupuncture. I didn't do massages. I didn't do cold tub. I didn't do none of that stuff.
Did they have acupuncture back then?
Yeah, back when I played against Babe Ruth, they used to try it, but I told them too crazy.
That was one of those ones. I've done it before where it's like it was like behind my knee, and they do an acupuncture into the ear and like something else, and you're like, no, I said my knee hurts, but they're like, we know, and it just did it straight into the ear, and like you send a shock wave down, and the knee felt great for months. So it's like all that stuff's connected, all the nerves are connected. So it's just fascinating to see where they go in for different problems. I would never expected up here by the neck for an elbow problem.
Yeah. Me neither.
All right, Drey, so let's talk some ball here. So you did Arizona Fall League, right? To try and get yourself ramped up, get some innings going. That would be the key thing, right? So you haven't logged a ton of innings over the past couple of years. How do you get yourself to a place where now you get to camp and you're feeling good and you want to be able to contribute as many innings as possible for the season, right?
Yeah. With the Fall League was it was a stepping stone in the sense of seeing if this Botox truly worked. Because, playing catch and throwing bullpens without that live intent, you don't really know, or you could still be in that uncertain, range of like really understanding if that Botox actually works. So I actually wanted to play winter ball just to kind of get my feet wet, and get back into game settings, and that kind of got shut down. And then they kind of like, talked to whoever they had to talk to try to get me into the Fall League, got me into the Fall League through, I think, like 8 or 10 innings or something like that. And everything was good. And then that way I could take a full off season. Everything's normal, come back spring training and be 100%.
Drey, I have a question because you're explaining a lot of new things to me about medical stuff like Botox in the shoulder to make your elbow feel better. You had bone spurs last year, right? We've seen a couple guys that have popped up having bone spurs this spring. Explain to people is that like a little piece of bone that breaks off and is floating around and then it locks your elbow up, or what did you have done? Because was that a result of Tommy John? Because someone from the Braves just said they had bone spurs in their arm after I think they had Tommy John. So is that what caused the bone spurs?
I'm not 100% sure on all that. What I do know is, when having Tommy John surgery and getting the brace, I feel like it just kind of brings everything super tight. So your elbow's it doesn't really have all that wiggle room, I would say. So it's tight. So the motions of like, if mechanics are a little bit off or a little different because you haven't thrown in, 18 months in a game or whatever it is, it gets to a point where those bones then start kind of clashing. Well, it'd be like a callus on your finger. So it's like, when you're repeating a pitch and, over time you're going to create this callus. From my understanding, a bone spur is kind of a callus. And sometimes it's a protecting. It can protect you in certain ways, and sometimes it can be basically it needs to be taken out. Mine was more of like they thought protecting, so they didn't truly want to just take it out unless that Botox didn't work, because that was like the last remedy that we were going to do, I feel like, before we went towards removing that bone spur. So the Botox worked, and then the bone spur's still in there, I guess. So we hope it doesn't fall off and start floating around. I'm not 100% sure on all that.
Yeah, but that was pretty well explained because sometimes we need layman terms, and we actually have a show called Injury Territory. We should clip this so we can get some analysis from him because you just don't hear about this very often. But let's try and tie this into first of all, success you've had in the big leagues. I know you haven't logged a ton of innings yet, right? And you have high hopes here, but over 60 innings, you've had great success when you've been on the mound, punch outs, run prevention, the whole deal. So, what have you learned from your time so far pitching in the big leagues? And your prep leading up to that. I saw, an article somewhat recently from you talking about how, the ramp up process and how you should do things in February versus what you're doing, say, in July in a big league season. I think some of this would be super helpful for the kids that listen to this show, the high schoolers, even the minor leaguers that listen.
Yeah, I mean, the big leagues is definitely, it's the top stage. It's where everyone wants to be in this game, and I take it as like I'm very competitive, and that's one thing I'll take with me for the rest of my life is that I just don't think anyone's more competitive than I am. And that can be baseball, that can be life, that can be video games, that can be chess, it could be anything. I just hate to lose, and I think that drive fulfills my success to an extent, right? And then you have, the God-gifted talent, then you have the hard work, and then you have, all these components and what they call step by step in life of putting all those together can make true success. Am I to that point yet? No, I would say no, I'm not there yet. But I think I'm at a good head start of it all, and I think that um, whatever you want to do in life, if it's in this game, if it's flipping cheeseburgers at McDonald's, be the best, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing in life, as long as you fulfill and you work hard at any craft that you want to be good at, anything's achievable. So if I had a message for any younger kid looking for to fulfill any dream of theirs, it's not a doubtful dream. It's a dream that you chase. It's a dream that you live by, and it's a dream that you work hard for. And if you do all those things, that dream will then come true.
I love that. I love that. You got some guys here on this roster. You have one of our buddies of the show, Mr. Sewald, and some other veterans. Are there any veterans that you've kind of really taken a liking to, or followed, or have picked up some stuff from? That, like, who do you kind of tail of the older guys and kind of watch them as they go through their programs and take bits and pieces? You're like, oh, I like the way they do that, and what have you learned from some of them?
Yeah, so a lot of the vets, they're guys that have been around in the game a long time. They're guys that have routines that work for them.
Yeah.
And everyone's different in routines. But I mean, I follow Merrill a lot, Merrill Kelly, and I truly like the way he moves, the way he operates, the way he handles his business. And something that like I cherish and something that I respect a lot out of Merrill is it's a $40 million man, and he acts like none of that is even on the table.
Great quality.
He doesn't treat anyone different. He's that guy. If you have a question, he's going to answer your question to his full capability. If you want to know a new pitch grip and he has any insights of it, he's willing to share that information. He's very easy to talk to, and that's a guy that leads by example. Along with Zac Gallen, I talked to him a lot. Not more on the baseball side of things, but more on the side of, life, fun stuff, shoes, and
but that's just as important
that.
sometimes. Maybe not the shoes part, but it's just like talking about life. So you got to get your off the field in check to be able to perform on the field too. As we have a cart going by, we're going to give it a sec for the volume. There's times where it's just like if you're at home and or stuff's going on in your head and you're not able to concentrate, it'll show on the field just because it pours over into it. But I think that's where developing a routine, developing a structure, even as a staff, but definitely as an individual, where it'll kind of gets you little checkpoints throughout your day and your career to make sure that, okay, I can separate the two. Let's go about my business. This gives me something to do. So I like, do you guys as a full staff communicate well on what you guys see, or if you're trying to learn new pitches or trying to do everything like, hey, I'd like Merrill's cutter here or Gallen's changeup or something like that? Do you guys all discuss it and kind of see if you guys can pick each other's brains and learn from each other?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like, at this kind of level, you get to a point of everyone has their own pitch shapes, their own
True.
style of pitching. But, when guys are struggling with a changeup, for instance, yesterday, my changeup's a little hard right now. I wanna kill some velo. So who am I going to go to and talk to Merrill again? Because he's a changeup wizard.
Yeah.
I think his changeup's really good. And for me, it's like, okay, like, how do you kill velo? And he might not kill velo. He throws kind of everything's kind of around the same velocity with him, but it's moving all over the place.
If he was out here, I'd call it his fastball. His changeup's his fastball. If he was out here.
So yeah, in that sense, it's like, hey, like maybe he has a cue of basically, hey, this is how you could kill a little bit of that velo, and just picking other guys' brains within the clubhouse too, that might have, changeups that are pretty far off velocity wise in their fastballs, because I don't need the movement aspect of it. I need to learn how to kill velocity, and with that is picking those guys' brains that have established that changeup at basically killing velocity.
Got it.
Drey, is the plan for you to start the year out in the bullpen, and then you have the possibility to start, if there's an opportunity that arises? Wanted to get that from you. And also, if so, to just tell us a little bit more about some of the talented arms in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, because we're a national show. And I feel like, at least reading some reports and previews of the team, it's like, oh, the Diamondbacks have one of the better offenses in baseball. There's some notable names in the rotation. Not sure about the bullpen. And actually look down at some names. I'm like, oh, there's some pitching talent. They might not be too well known yet, but there's some guys that can strike some people out.
Yeah. So to your first question of, bullpen to starter, I don't know the full answer to that. I know my chance to break with the team would be in the bullpen. For the future of this year and even years past or forward, I don't truly know the answer to the starting aspect. I would love for that to happen. But they might have different goals and different ideas on what they see me in the near future. With the bullpen arms, obviously with Puck and Martinez out, a lot of people think the powerhouse is kind of gone. It's going to come back in the middle of the year, but we have a lot of guys, I feel like, that can get a lot of jobs done. You got Cade Stroud, who I don't know if it's a huge name, but the kid's disgusting. He's really good. He was really good with the Orioles. You got Juan Murillo, who I think, he was getting his feet wet last year and learning the game in the big leagues in the first time. But, he throws 100 to 101. He commands the zone. He's got good secondary. That's going to be another guy that, might not have been on everyone's radar, but who's, I think, going to have a really good year. And I think he's going to have a huge role on this team. You got Hoffman, you got Garcia. You got guys now, I just feel like you look down at everybody's bullpens, and it's, beforehand it would be like, oh, they might have someone that throws 100 and that can command the zone with it. Now I feel like you have every bullpen in the big leagues now. It's like you got 2 or 3 guys that are chucking that thing 100, commanding it with nasty off speed. So it all comes down to consistency and health, honestly. And I think, if the bullpen can stay healthy, the starting rotation can stay healthy, and then those starters are giving us 5-6 innings, and you're throwing a 7, 8, 9, you can win a lot of ball games doing that.
Drey, before I let you go, I have one last question for you. You grew up in Indianapolis area, right? Greenfield, Indiana. Lance Lynn obviously is the best player ever out of Indianapolis. He'll tell us all that he's the best player ever out of there, which we can make arguments about. But what team did you grow up a fan of? Because Indianapolis is kind of in no man's land.
Yeah, so I was a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. Okay. And I couldn't tell you one thing about the Cardinals back then, but I could tell you about Albert Pujols. So he was like my all-time favorite player growing up. I had my room, St. Louis Cardinals painted, had like 2 jerseys of his, maybe watched 3 games. Not one to really watch TV growing up. I didn't watch sports. They still don't watch them. I play it, and I'm not the best, what you would call, I don't watch the sports. I'm not a big sports watcher. I'm not really a TV person in general. I'd rather be doing stuff with my hands and doing things, outside and that kind of stuff growing up. Now I'm more of like, when I get home, it's kick back, maybe play some video games for a little bit, and then turn on some stuff depending on if it's a good game or not. I'll watch it. But if it's just a regular night, not like a crazy matchup or any of those kind of things, I don't really watch sports.
Okay, good. Well, maybe you just listen to Foul Territory.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that is good. I
was a huge Albert Pujols fan, but I only saw like 4 games. Okay.
Hey, highlights.
I love it. Highlights.
Yeah. That was back when MySpace, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Using your
that
top
was before
5.
your time.
And Vine.
Wild West back then. Well, Drey, this was awesome. Really appreciate the extended time. Best of luck and health. We'll be watching. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
He has great swag on. Speaking of which, Snakes Territory has one of the coolest logos, part of the FT network. So if you want more on the Diamondbacks, we're talking all about them today and chatting with some of their players. We've had Jameson and Gallen so far. Then go get yourself a little Snakes Territory free podcast or digital show, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, the whole deal, plus snakesterritoryshop.com. I actually am not wearing my Snakes Territory shirt today because I just wore it the other day and I didn't do my laundry yet. That's how often I wear that shirt.
You have one?
I'm not kidding. Yes, I do.
Can I get, I mean, I
one.
barely have a Foul Territory shirt or hat.
Well,
and
you're
have
superstitious.
every team, and I have none of them.
You like to wear the same hat every day. So
yeah, but I don't like to wear the same shirt every day.
I've got a guy. I'm going to get you a Snakes Territory.
I mean, think
shirt.
about like when we were at the Cubs, I could have had Northside Territory.
Yep. Well, I'm going to work on getting you that, and I would love to see you wear that. All right, we'll be right back. We're going to get into all of the nitty-gritty details about why you should switch to Mint Mobile, but I brought a special guest in for this one to alert you that you might be paying way too much for your wireless bill. Eric Kratz, can you give me the bullpen dugout phone, please?
You want to pay $15 a month, unlimited? Switch to Mint Mobile.
You heard the man. Unlimited talk, text, and data at a fraction of what others charge. Ready to stop paying more than you have to? New customers can make the switch today, and for a limited time, get unlimited premium wireless for just $15 per month. Switch now at mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/territory. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Plan required, $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Over 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. In the weeds, power rankings time. Let's look at the top 10 lineups according to Matt Snyder from CBS. So he's got the Baltimore Orioles at 10. I do want to make an important note right off the jump here. This list came out a little over a week ago. It was before the Jordan Westburg elbow injury. So take that with however you want. He did already put this out when we learned about the Jackson Holiday Hammett injury. He'll be back hopefully a few weeks into the season. 9 Phillies, 8 Cubs, Blue Jays at 7. He puts the Mariners at 6, the A's at 5, the Mets at 4, Braves offense at 3, Yankees at 2, Dodgers at 1. Same thing like we did yesterday with the rotations. He's looking for star power. He's looking for depth. He said he's only one person. Last year he put the Braves at 2. They ended up more middle of the pack. They also didn't have Acuna for the beginning of the year. Riley took a step back. Anyway, slice and dice. I actually had a lot of opinions here. Not as much of who should be in and who should be out, but I didn't love the way everything was ranked.
Well, I'm going to start with the Mariners. Don't we always say the Mariners can't hit? And what did they do this offseason?
They picked up Brendan Donovan.
And they traded Suarez for Donovan at the end of the year, right? And they brought back Naylor.
And they lost Polanco. I think the offense for Seattle
I think they should be closer to 8 or 9. I think 6 is a little bit high for me. I think there's a little bit of – not saying that the Mariners don't have a good lineup, but I think Julio will have a better year start to finish possibly. I don't know if Cal's going to hit 60 again, but I mean, I like this lineup. I mean, I just look at the OPS plus. I mean, Victor Robles has had that great month and a half. He got him a nice contract, and he was kind of Cole Young. We don't know what we're going to get out of. J.P. Crawford is a nice player. I don't know. To me, that's kind of a little bit high at 6. Yeah. I think
they
the
were
Blue
really
Jays
good
should
last
be higher.
year. The Mariners offense in the regular season. Of course, yeah, Cal had a ridiculous year. But I'm with you. Maybe lower towards the 7 to 10 range.
Yes. I think 6 is a little bit high.
Okay.
The Orioles to me at 10 is high too, I think.
Really?
Just because, look at their offense last year. I mean, I know they added Pete. Adley, down year. Gunnar, down year. Jackson Holiday hasn't proven himself yet.
Westberg's hurt.
Westberg's always hurt.
They did
Calzer didn't do much last year.
Righty pop.
I mean, okay, Taylor Ward, great. Fine.
Pete,
great. But Gunnar needs to have a good year. Adley needs to figure it out. Dylan Beavers proved nothing. Blaze Alexander. Kobe Mayo hasn't done anything. Basayo's
it's a lot of potential for their. I think if they reach more potentials, I think Orioles do belong in the top 10. But you can definitely make a case like you are right now that they might not be there yet.
I mean, Kip, how many teams did you play on that? Like, if everything goes right, we're going to win the World Series. I mean, it's like there's so many ifs. I don't know. I think the A's are high in five.
Yeah, I think the A's are. I think the A's could go back a drop. I think. Let me give you a few because we're pushing teams back. Let me give you a few that I think should go up.
Okay, give me some ups.
The Blue Jays are at 7. I think they should be at 2.
Okay.
LA 1, cool, get it.
Dodgers fine, yeah.
2, Blue Jays. Vladdy Prime. The big thing is, yes, they lost Bo. I'm very high on Okamoto.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ernie Clement has found something and is going to go from more of like a slightly above average bat to someone who could be all-star status. I think what we saw in the postseason, it's not going to be that all year. He's not going to hit 400, but I think he's going to be special. That lineup has the right mix of slug and contact. I think it's a really good lineup. Also, are we talking about these power rankings for regular season or overall for the year? For me, I'm factoring in how I think these teams and these offenses are going to do, not just in the regular season, Kip, but in the playoffs. And for me, the Yankees are going to score more runs most likely than the Blue Jays. They're a home run machine, right? They were last year. But which lineup do you like better in the playoffs? Toronto's lineup or the Yankees lineup?
Toronto's, I think.
Yeah. I have the Yankees. So for me, when I was trying to rewrite this up for my top 3, I kept the Dodgers at 1. I put the Blue Jays at 2 and the Yankees at 3.
I think the Cubs should be a little bit higher too. I like the way they had a really good balance of they beat a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I thought they extend, they go for the extra bases, they run the bases well, and they steal a lot of bases. So I think they create a lot of runs too. Adding Bregman, then adding a year of experience for PCA and some of these other guys, I think they should maybe move up there or will be up there by the end of the year as well.
I agree. That was my other team that I think should jump up. I could see.
I'm trying to think of some other teams that aren't on this list or aren't on the top 10.
Braves should go down for me a little bit too.
Yeah, Braves should go down
just
for me.
because last year they just weren't that. It's been 2 years now since they've been a great offense.
Agreed.
I think everyone's still looking at from the year they set all those records.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long time ago now.
Is there any team that's not on the list that either of you two would have?
So I started going through this. I actually think the 10 on here is pretty solid.
What about the Diamondbacks? We're at Diamondbacks camp today, Kip. They've scored a lot of runs the last few years.
They lost Naylor and Gino, so some of
but they brought Arenado in, and they signed someone else, so first base.
Santana and some others. But I think their problem last year was they were very top heavy. Their top 4 hitters in their lineup were kind of carrying most of the bulk of that run scoring. I think if you got to the bottom half of that order, they weren't turning over the lineup to be, I guess, in this top 10. They weren't turning it over enough. You
can look at every team. When you add Yuri Gurriel to that, how long is he out for?
A while.
Okay, but at some point he's coming back. I mean, we just showed the Mariners. The bottom 2 were very similar to these two. These bottom.
I think this team can definitely make a case.
I mean, if Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Perdomo, Gabby Moreno, Pavin Smith can rake. Arenado we talked to, he's going to have a bounce back here, I think. I mean, you throw Gurriel in there, that's a pretty damn good lineup.
Yeah, I think Gurriel might not be until late in the season.
They could look.
His injury pretty bad, but I'm with you. I think they could sneak in. So what would you do? Maybe put them in and take Baltimore out?
Yeah.
I think the Orioles offense is going to be good, though. I do think some guys are going to bounce back here. So, hey, we're going to get ready.
What about the White Sox? The White Sox had the best offense in the American League the second half last year.
That can't be true. Is that true?
Them in the top 10.
They look at the numbers.
It was the best offense?
It was one of the best. I don't know if it was the best, but it was one of the best.
Wow.
The numbers were crazy.
I do like Kip's call out for the Cubs. Mets, for me, 4 is too high. I think putting them, more in the, again, maybe 6 to 8, 6 to 9 range. They did lose Pete, Nimmo's pretty consistent in there. There's some question mark. I know they added some offense. Luis Robert, what does he look like? How much does he play?
Polanco,
Bo. So it's good. I don't know. Is it top 5 good? I don't know. So, all right, that was fun. A little mixing and matching. Do we have time to do a quick read, or we're going right to the conversation here?
Hold on, before we go. So the Yankees game is on TV right here.
Yes.
They're showing a hotel that is not in Tampa. Aren't they based in Tampa? That's the Don Cesar. That is not in Tampa. It's in Tampa Bay, but it's in St. Pete.
So you're saying they messed up there?
Well, no, I'm just asking. Is that
shot?
strange? Because they're based in Tampa, like Tampa proper. And St. Pete is where the Rays play, and that's like kind of close to the Rays stadium. I don't know.
I think they're just showing scenes from the area.
So it's,
the Tampa Bay area.
It's B-roll.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe they were talking about something specifically out there. Like, hey, I went to this great spot in St. Pete.
An hour away.
Yeah.
No. I don't think Michael Kay's driving there. Just
I like St. Pete.
I do too.
Yeah. I'm told we have seconds to go, and then we're going to bring in our guest joining us live. Is he good? We're adjusting the mic.
Nice.
Hold on. All right, come back to us. Thank you.
Yeah. So do you see what I'm saying, though? I think I get it. Like, if you say Tampa Rays, you're like, it's Tampa Bay Rays. Like, the Tampa fans get really mad about that thing. So then when it's the Tampa Tarpons or the Yankees team. So there's no Tarpons in Tampa.
But Tampa Bay includes St. Pete and Tampa.
No, I know. And it also includes like Sarasota. Like, that's all considered the Tampa Bay area.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I don't know. It's just a conversation question.
We can text one of the Yankee people and ask them what's going on there.
It's not cheap to stay there. I know that.
Oh, Frankie made a good point here. He said it's like when there's a Jets or a Giants game and the TV networks will show the Empire State Building. Are you okay with that? Because that's not even in the same state.
Well, why aren't they the New Jersey Jets? It's like the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, of Orange County, of Newport Coast.
They just won't give us the credit in Jersey.
I mean, nobody wants to claim New Jersey.
I'm claiming New Jersey.
Except Zac Gallen. Zac Gallen's the only person I've ever met that claims New Jersey.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to see if, yes, we're ready. Okay, cool. Let's go. Kip, take it away.
There we go. We got a former Arizona State Sun Devil here, baby, with us. One of my good buddies, Merrill Kelly, joining us, and one of the head of this rotations that's going to be a big focal point. I'm going to start just because we had one of your new former teammates already, Zac Gallen, with us. How big is it to have him back?
Huge. Obviously his resume the last couple of years kind of speak for itself. But I think he's a guy, on and off the field that the guys in the clubhouse rely on and they go to when there's a big time situation. And just to have another anchor in the rotation, another piece of depth is obviously huge.
He's, I think, sorry, Scott, you go.
I just wanted to ask while we're on that topic, for you, I mean, you guys actually had very different off seasons. You signed pretty early. Zac had to wait for a long time. And we spoke to Zac like 40 minutes ago about the qualifying offer. He had, kind of a up and down season, the second half much better than the first. So for you, what was the free agent process like? It seemed pretty smooth.
Mine was, like you said, probably a lot more fun than his was. I've just watching his from afar, being so close. We play golf, probably once a week in the off season. And every time I'd see him, I'd ask him what we got. And every time he told me nothing, it was shocking. I mean, I don't think anybody, like you said, a down season, but I don't think anybody could have imagined the off season that he had. But for me, it was cool. I mean, obviously the fact that these guys were first on the table, they made it very clear early, even going back to the trade last year, that was their goal. And the fact that they showed up, there's not a lot of times I feel like that you leave a team and then are able and lucky enough to come back to the place that you want. I'll be forever grateful for these guys, sitting here going into my 8th year, coming back from Korea. I don't think I ever could have imagined still being here, not only in the big leagues, but also being a Diamondback. So it was pretty cool to see the fact that they, what their words were towards the end, were actually real, and they made it very apparent that they wanted me back.
You're one of the few guys that gets traded and comes back, right? So that had to make you feel special because most guys get traded and they never get to come back to their original organization. So that right there tells me they must have wanted you bad, because that's pretty awesome as a player to have that feeling.
Yeah, like I said, I'm lucky. Like you said, AJ, I don't think too many guys get the opportunity to go back to a team that they were traded from. Usually, for at least from what I've seen, usually when you get traded, it's kind of like, all right, thanks for your service, but we're going to move on. But like I said, even the conversations the day of the trade deadline with Hayes and Amiel and all the front office, it was kind of a conversation of like, hey, we got to do this at the time. Your value's high and we got to get some pieces for you. But I feel like I left it off with Hayes saying that, hey, we'll be talking in a couple months, and they were definitely first in the ring.
What was it like for you in Texas?
Texas was cool. It actually worked out because my mom and my brother live out there now. They live in Allen, Texas, about 15 minutes outside the city. So it was nice being able to be coming from one place that has family to the other place where my other half of the family is. So it was actually pretty comfortable.
Did you learn anything from Mike Maddox when you're out there?
Yeah.
A short time?
Not too much. Obviously, those times are limited, and I feel like when you get traded to an org, it's kind of like, hey, we brought you here for a reason, and we want you to do you and do what you do to get over here. So the sample size was pretty small, and I feel like at that point it was just kind of let's bear down and try to get to the playoffs as much as we can.
Hey, Merrill, Ken Rosenthal, part of the FT network here. I saw that he said there might have been a little bigger offer in terms of guaranteed money from another team. Can you speak to that at all? If there was another team, I mean, hey, you're now locked in for 2 years. Were you considering another ball club potentially in California and decided, hey, I've got my setup really nicely here. I've been with Arizona. I've got the home in Arizona. Take us through that part of the process.
Yeah, and I think first and foremost, going into the offseason, it was pretty clear. I made it pretty clear. I wanted to be a Diamondback my whole big league career. Coming back here was always first and foremost. It was always the priority. But yeah, there was a team out in California. I think everybody can pretty much figure out who that was. There was a 3-year offer guaranteed on the table. But the numbers and, like you said, the home situation with the family and my kids getting older and school coming into play. And, I don't think it's any secret on how much money you get taken out of your pocket when you go to California. There was a lot of factors that went into the 3-year deal. It was definitely enticing. It definitely made the decision a lot harder to come back here. But once these guys got to kind of the number that they did, it just made a lot more sense to come back here.
Does that team wear blue? That's all I'm going to ask.
That team does not wear blue.
Oh, red. They were
not wear blue.
Or orange.
They're a little further south than the team. They're a little further south than the team that wears blue. They're a little closer to home. That's another reason why it made it such a challenging decision, because living on Coronado, I hear is a pretty good quality.
Whale's
life.
Vagina. It was Whale's Vagina.
Yeah. So and that was like it worked out best for us because that was honestly our second choice. It was between here and San Diego going into the offseason. The San Diego was like really the only place that if we did go somewhere, that was probably high on our list. If we weren't in Arizona, it's like, all right, let's just hop over and take a short 6-hour drive to San Diego. But the desert is home. We're not I guess we're not ocean people. We're more desert rats.
Yeah, Merrill, you're the first person ever that's been offered a bunch of money to go live in San Diego and said no, I think. So let's just go. So now when you pitch against them, they're going to be like, boo, he hates San Diego. He's such a bad guy. This guy hates San Diego.
No, I love San Diego. It's just, like I said, they take too much money out of my pocket, man. The taxes over there are a different level. We had some numbers guys run the number. No, we had my numbers guy run the numbers, and it just made more sense to come home. Which is crazy on a 2-year compared to a 3-year.
That is wild.
Right. Yeah, a 3-year, if it's lower AAV, and then you've got the huge tax difference. We've actually explained that quite frequently on this show, just to give some perspective to people. Okay,
yeah,
so
and La Jolla ain't cheap,
No, yeah, cost of living. There's some
you can live inland. Hey, Merrill, you don't have to live right on the beach.
Go to San Diego and live away from the beach. What's the point of that? I might as well live with the scorpions, man.
It's a fair rebuttal.
He's the Scorpion King. Actually, you know what? So we spoke to Drey Jameson earlier, and he called you the changeup wizard. What would be your number one tip to youngsters out there trying to learn how to effectively use a changeup in their repertoire in college or wherever? I mean, we get a lot of young fans that listen and love hearing these conversations, and young players, I should say, that are aspiring to be you.
That's high praise from Drey because his heater's on a different level. I would say the biggest thing for me in the changeup is the arm speed. I think anytime you try to detract, and I've never been good at physically changing speeds, like mentally trying to subtract and add speed. Like my throw is just kind of my throw. It's just kind of the way it comes out. Like that's why I think if you look at my velocities, everything is very compact. But I think I get away with that because I try to make everything look the same. And I think that would probably be the biggest tip for youngsters is don't necessarily worry about the movement too much. I think gravity and the mound and the grip will do most of that. But if I had to give one tip, it would probably just be try to throw it the same as your fastball. I feel like hitters, you guys can probably attest to this. If you saw a guy with good arm speed and it looks the same as a heater, even if it's not moving as much, your timing's still going to be off because the way it presents, the way it comes out of my hand, and the way I let it go is going to make it look more like a heater than anything else. And I think when guys try to slow up and are worried about the speed differential, some guys just got it. I don't understand how guys throw 95-mile-an-hour fastballs and 84-mile-an-hour changeups. It doesn't make sense in my brain.
Don't look at me.
But that's probably be my one tip is try to throw everything the same because I think for the changeup, the biggest thing is the eye test. And when you try to start manipulating the ball and you try to start making it slower because you're worried about seeing it move, I think is when A, the hitters can pick up on it a lot quicker, and B, the movement starts a lot earlier out of the hand, which makes it easier to pick up as well.
See, when you said you're not good at just creating the velocity change with your arm, that just means all I heard is I can repeat my arm slot. That's my throw every single time. For staying on the changeup topic, what would you say is more important for a young guy throwing? Worrying about the velocity change from the fastball or the movement on the pitch? How would you rank the two of importance?
Obviously movement is huge,
Sure.
right? Everybody's chasing the TrackMan numbers on the separation. For me, I would go a different direction and almost say location.
Great. Love it.
For me, that's kind of how I've always gotten by. I think that's the reason why I'm still able to do what I do at 37. I think execution over everything.
Love it.
If the speed change isn't there, let's say, and the movement isn't there, but I can put it exactly where I want it to, usually the outcome's going to be all right.
Sometimes, and by that, it's like we can pick up the pitch maybe, and it's like, oh, I think it's a changeup. But if you put it right where it's like, do I want to swing? Do I not?
Yeah.
Do I have to reach out for it? That's where location comes in for everything.
Yeah. I try to force you to make a decision.
Yeah, and we hate that.
Yeah.
Hey, Merrill, how's your back? You're scheduled more than likely to be opening day starter, right? Are you still on track for that, or where are we at?
I don't think so. Just with how many days I've been down, I just think I've pushed things back too far. We've had a couple conversations, but I would guess that that's probably off the table at this point. Even if I woke up tomorrow and miraculously felt 100% and just could start ripping balls off the mound, I think the fact that I've missed my second live bullpen and my first game was slotted for tomorrow. Unfortunately, I think opening day is off the table, but we at least have a direction now. I'm going to get some treatment today and see if that works. I've been told we've talked to a couple guys. We've talked to Meister, Dr. Meister out in Dallas. He's kind of the go-to guy for things right now, and we seem to have a pretty good direction. So we're going to try something today, and hopefully that works. But I think, unfortunately, as far as opening day, I think we're kind of pushed too far back at this point.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something about this team because you know them quite well. I think many fans forget that just a few short years ago, the Diamondbacks were in the World Series. What do you think when you see, or hear about so many people complaining that only the big market teams have a shot? And I'm not going to say that Arizona and Phoenix specifically is a small market, but a lot of times we're looking at TV money. The Diamondbacks aren't pouring in TV money right now. They're under the league's contract. We don't have to get into the nitty gritty there. The point is their revenue stream is not off the charts, yet this team a few years ago made the World Series. So when you hear fans say like, oh, it's unfair, like only the same few teams can win, did they forget how good you guys were a few years ago?
Yeah, I think it's easy to forget with what the Dodgers have done the last couple of years, right? And they continue to go out and spend money and bring good players in. Obviously, they brought Kyle Tucker in this offseason. As a player, like we love to see that, right? Like we wish more teams would do what they're doing. I think that only breeds good things for the game. But somebody said the other day there's 15 guys on this roster right now that were in that World Series run on that team. And I think every team has a chance to win, right, if they really want to. And I think that comes along with if you're not going to spend the huge amount of money. And, I got to hand it to our guys. They went out and re-signed me. They went and re-signed Gallen, obviously not for, what I think he thought he was going to get. But if you look at our payroll, it's definitely not small compared to the rest of the league. Obviously, nobody can really compete with the Dodger money that's going on right now. But I think if you look at our roster overall and the team that we were in the World Series, I think on paper we're definitely a better squad top to bottom than we were that year. And I think with the additions as far as people coming off the IL sporadically throughout the year, right, we'll get Corbin back, we'll get AJ Puck back at some point, and we'll get Justin Martinez, some pretty heavy arms coming out of the bullpen. I think we're in a really good spot. And I think that a lot of teams or a lot of, I guess, fans around the league look at the Dodgers as the gold standard because, obviously they've won 2 years in a row and they continue to get better. But I think that's the beauty of baseball. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And I think when, you hear stuff about the playoffs, you hear throughout the course of the history of the league, it's like, oh, this team got hot at the right time. And I think some teams or some fans look at that as you weren't really that good of a team, you just got hot. But I think that's the beauty of baseball is being able to play your best baseball when it actually matters. The Dodgers have been fortunate where they can do that kind of throughout the year. But I think at this point, when you get into the playoffs, especially with the way the playoffs are structured now, I think it's anybody's game.
Agreed. That's the whole team. That's most teams' mantra, even though I hate it, is just get in. You never know what can happen. So
yeah,
I don't know. All right. So you played in the WBC in 23, right? Obviously, you're injured this year. You couldn't do it this year. You won a championship in the KBO. If technically, could you play for Korea because you have a ring from Korea? Would they let you play for Team Korea?
I doubt it. I would if they asked, but I doubt it. I think you got to have some.
If you went to them.
I think you got to have some sort of lineage, and just looking at me, I'm pretty sure I don't have any Asian in me, but I would if they asked me to. I think it'd be a blast. Eat some kimchi and go over to Korea and have some fun. I would do it, but I don't think I'm in the running for that.
Okay, I didn't know if you could just flash your ring from the KBO series and say, "Look, guys, I got this ring. I won championships for you before, so let me be on the team." I don't know.
Get citizenship quick.
Yeah, get quick citizenship. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Last one before we let you go. I need the 4 box here because I need Kip on for this. So I didn't realize this. We got it. The 2 box right here, so I can see all of you. And Kip's sitting next to you. Are you going to rub it into Kip that you graduated, you left Arizona State a year after him, and you're still playing on a 2-year deal, and Kip's been retired for like 7 years now. So are you just going to rub it in his face that you're just the better Arizona State alumni?
Ooh, that's tough. And you said graduated. I definitely didn't graduate.
Well, you know what I mean.
Early for sure. He at least graduated.
Yeah, but he's been retired for 6 years now. So I mean, yes.
Yeah, I'm lucky, man. I'm also a pitcher too, and like I said, I locate. So if I didn't locate, I'd probably be out of the game by now, throwing 90 miles an hour as a righty. But
don't let AJ divide us right now. All right, watching this guy, this is what he does. No, watching this guy go over to Korea and then come back and put together a career for this long and this solid has actually been one of, just for me, one of the more fun guys that I get to watch. That I was like, I know him, I know where he's come from, I know where he started and what he's been through. I love that. He's easy to root for. So no, AJ, you are not going to split up the Sun Devils.
Yeah,
right
no
now.
chance, buddy.
We root for each other.
You guys have like a special handshake with your little thing, your little whatever.
See, you get them all out right now. Just get them all out of you.
I don't know. Do you guys like?
I got something for you. He also played at Yavapai. He didn't just do Arizona State.
Yeah, I was going to say I was only
at
ASU. I was only at ASU for a year. I think people get it twisted a little bit that I was
2 years. I had 2 years.
Yeah, he at least had 2 years. I was only there for 1. Even though we did make it to the World Series when I was there, but
we also made it.
We also got smacked. So
we went 2-2.
Wait, was Murph?
We went 0-2.
Wait, did Murph coach both of y'all?
So Murph recruited me. That was the year that Murph resigned.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had him.
How much did Murph not pay you?
How much? No.
This is what he does.
Yeah,
This
no
is-
comment. No comment. Like I just got an
Don't worry, every
extension. I'm
time-
not going to say
listen,
anything to mess anything up.
Hey, listen,
Fuck
every
up, good
time
night.
I see Murph says, I didn't recruit you, right? And I'm like, I know, Murph. You tell me every time I see you that you did not recruit me, okay? I get it. You
Yeah.
didn't like
But
Yeah,
I got nothing for love for Murph.
Yeah.
Agreed.
He's a rich man
Agreed.
managing a good team these days.
Yeah,
you
I always
guys
knew
will-
he was
will
going to
see.
be. I always knew he was going to be a manager, but to
Yeah.
see what he's done over there and in Milwaukee is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got something good going there. Well, Merrill, this
Yeah.
was awesome, man. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Congrats on the contract in the offseason. Then good luck this year. Yeah, excited to see the Diamondbacks make some noise.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. All right. They're good from sight for now. Let's kick it back here to the studio for a moment. Let's do a little look at SeatGeek's upcoming matchups. First of all, I just want to shout this out. We're going to talk a lot more about the World Baseball Classic coming up. So that's there. And there are sold out games that you'll need to go to SeatGeek for to get in on the action. I mean, next week on Friday are the first games in the United States. So there's sites in Houston. There's going to be games in Miami. So if you want to check all of that out, go for it. Also, I mean, one that I have circled, because the U.S. team gets a lot of the attention. Wednesday, March 11th, Dominican Republic against Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please, on that one too. So if you want to check out some of those matchups, SeatGeek Territory 10 is the code, 10% off. And then I did look at a few matchups for Friday too. I've been kind of pushing forward. So we're doing our show here on Thursday. If you're looking for some spring training action on Friday, Freddie Peralta for the Mets in Jupiter, Brandon Sproat now with the Brewers. He's going to take on the White Sox. Shane Baz for the O's. So these are a lot of names in new places. You get to see what they look like in the new uniform. Edward Cabrera for the Cubs. I mean, we have a lot of those coming up on Friday. And then if you want to see Chris Sale, he's pitching for Atlanta against the Red Sox, his old team. I know you're only getting a few innings out of these guys, but tickets for some of these spots can sell out. And then you go to SeatGeek and boom, you got 10% off. Plus they're going to give you an idea of if you're landing a good deal. Each ticket rated on a scale of 1 to 10. So it's Territory 10, 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek using the promo code TERRITORY10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Props to SeatGeek. Let's preview the Arizona Diamondbacks for 2026. I'm suddenly feeling this team a little more when you talk to Merrill Kelly, and he's like, this roster looks better than 23. They made it to the World Series in 23. So that's high praise.
That's a big
That is a big. The one thing I will point out, I think their bullpen's being looked at as that's going to be a weak spot. Justin Martinez and AJ Puck should come back at some point this season. I think there's some arm talent in there. Some guys that you might not know as well that were acquired in trades recently, like a Braden Garcia. Ginkel's been there for a while. Sewald back in a spot where he has thrived in the past. Drey Jameson mentioned Cade Stroud and how good he looks. Jonathan Loaizaga, if he can ever stay healthy, he's got good stuff. But your thoughts on the Diamondbacks in general? I think they can hit, and they've got some good veteran arms in the rotation.
I think they're going to be sneaky good again. I think they're going to fight. Every year it seems like they fight for a playoff spot, whether they get in or not. I mean, remember 2 years ago they lost on the last day. Mm-hmm. They won. They've kind of had since 23. They've kind of had years where you're like, oh man, they got a chance to be really good, and it just hasn't. Whether it's injuries or something goes wrong, whatever it is. I think they're going to score runs. We know that, and I think their pitching. They have Kelly. They still have Fott. They still have Zac Gallen, right? If Eduardo Rodriguez can come back and give them anything, and if their bullpen can hold it down until they get Martinez and Puck back, I think this team can be a force. And if they get in, there's one thing I'll say about the Diamondbacks and Torey Lovullo. They are not scared of the Dodgers. In 23, they beat their brains in. They were the last team, I think, to beat them in the postseason. Or was it? Yeah, that was 23. The Diamondbacks beat them, right?
Last team, yep.
So I think that they have a good team. Is it a great team? No, but there's one thing also about the Diamondbacks I'll say. They're not afraid to go and add if they're in it. And I love that about this team.
Yeah, I will give credit, Kip. Ken Kendrick is kind of a gunslinger kind of owner, right? If he feels like it's time, this is the thing we always criticize with some other teams. push chips in. Last year was not that time, and at the trade deadline, they sold parts so that they could load up. And a lot of that actually did some help for them in the pitching prospect department. They really needed help there. So they still need more help there, but they traded Naylor, they traded Suarez, they traded Merrill Kelly. And now I think you've got a team that can do some damage. I agree with AJ. Are they going to win 95 games? Probably not. I mean, probably more in the mid-80s. But if they can sneak in and they've got Kelly and Gallen good to go, and Fott looks like he did, is in the right place because he's been inconsistent, they could make some noise in the playoffs.
Well, I think that's all you can ask for as a player is that you have a management and ownership that goes for it when you're in it. I think that's really all we ask for and all we really want is just to make sure they're on the same page with us. And I think it's going to be, like you guys are saying, because of some of the injuries they have, especially early in the year, and especially if Merrill's not ready at the beginning, it's going to be very important how they get out the gate. I think the more that they can get out to a fast start, maybe when teams haven't got their footings yet, get some wins there, get the win column up a little bit, and definitely hang afloat, which will be helped by bringing in veterans like Arenado and Sewald and all these guys, Santana, who have been there for a while, who know how to maybe sneak out some wins and stay afloat. That'll help them because then throughout the year, they're going to get reinforcement after reinforcement of all these guys coming back healthy. So they're going to gain momentum as the year goes on, but it'll be important for them to get out the gate well.
Remember, we went over their win total recently. So Fangraphs has them at 81.5. The BetMGM line is 79.5.
Over. I'm taking the over. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I like the over on that one as well.
Yeah. Let's look at the win projections, too, for the team. So there's your lines.
You handsome
and
devil.
Then can we also flip to the NL West win projections? Over at site, they're going to get Paul Sewald set up, by the way. NL West projections. Fangraphs has the Dodgers at 99.4. Giants, these are projections. We know that you can't win 82.3 games. But then they've got these three teams.
I think the Diamondbacks are better than the Giants. I would take them over that.
I think the Diamondbacks are better than the Giants.
The Rockies 64.9 is still too high.
That is too hot.
They're not going to not, unless something changes, they're not going to not lose 100 games.
Correct. And they have them projected to
win 65 games.
Less than 100 games.
But almost no projections has a team losing 100 games.
Projections are very safe. They tend to bunch everything together. Now we use Fangraphs. I mean, we also use Pacoda. Pacoda is also very safe, kind of bunches things together. The league often looks that way too. I will say that, right?
Okay,
a lot of the league plays the 54%.
Find me a path to where the Rockies can not lose 100 games. If you can find me that path, because I can't.
The sport changes from baseball to football, and they're best suited because they have a football executive running. I'm kidding. I like some of the things they're doing, but there's no path.
Hey, Paul DePodesta got some shirts the other day, so let's not talk bad about him.
I want to talk to Paul.
Give him and his kids some shirts.
Can we get him on the shirts? I'm very curious to talk to him about what he's got planned there. Anyway, let's table that for now. Thoughts on season preview, let us know if you're catching this after the fact. Let's go back to AZ. Kip, want to bring in your next guest?
We're ready. We got the handsome devil Paul Sewald here coming in. Just threw a bullpen and is nice enough to join us right now.
Hey, what's up, Paul? How was the bullpen?
It was good. We're out here just already got the Arizona sunshine going. It's already hot. But it's good. It's good. Camp's been good. I got to skip a couple of the days that we shouldn't be here anyway, so that it worked out just fine.
There you go.
What was it? 88 cutters? What were we working on today? 88 high cutters? The low arm slot, the high cutter?
Plays like it's cutting. Look, they think it's supposed to be sinking. I don't even know what it does. I just try to get out. I just try to confuse them enough until they look back and can't figure out what happened.
They can't know what it does if I don't.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Hey, Paul, I want to ask you a question that I just relayed over to Merrill Kelly. Do you feel like people forgot the Diamondbacks made the World Series in 2023? There are a lot of the same names from that team back then. I mean, of course, you were a part of that run, and there's so much talk about how it's unfair for the rest of the league. Only the big market teams have a chance. And I am putting the Diamondbacks more in the mid to even maybe a little bit behind that range, because a lot of it's looking at TV money, not TV market, and they don't make a lot TV money-wise. It's a fact. So your thoughts when people say it's so unfair and your team smacked the Dodgers a couple years ago?
3 years in baseball feels like an eternity, right? It's like 2023. You're almost like, I forgot about that World Series, and we're talking about literally just 2 seasons ago. But they were 1 strike away from the Blue Jays winning last year, and I thought the Padres were better than them in 24 when we played them, back to back at the end of the year, and they were on the ropes. It just, they made the pitches and made the plays when they had to at the end and kind of won a back-to-back World Series. But I mean, that margin for error is razor thin. So for people to think that like this is a foregone conclusion, Andrew Friedman obviously thought that they needed to improve. That's why he signed Kyle Tucker. That's why he signed Edwin Diaz. He felt like, I got to make sure that I improve the team or the rest of the league's catching up to us. So people just like to complain about things on the internet, and that's more what it is than anything. No. Have you ever heard of a troll? Kip, have you ever had an internet troll? I mean, people just like to complain about things, and they're in our division, so certainly they're going to be a challenge for us. But 23 showed more than anything. They were maybe the best team in the league, and in a small sample size like a postseason series, you just never know what's going to happen. So that's why we're going to play the games this year. We're not going to use Pacoda standings to decide the World Series champion. We're going to go out there and we're going to play 162, and then hopefully we get a couple of playoff games.
I like that. Now, obviously, you're being familiar with them from playing with them in 2023. How much did that factor into you signing with them, and did they discuss at all roles yet? Because we know they have some injuries going into it. What have they talked to you about so far?
Yeah, I mean, we moved here, so this is home now, so it obviously had an impact. We had some offers that were all very similar, and when you start talking about, a little bit here and there, staying at home is really important. And for me, the most important thing is I have to go out there and I have to be healthy, and I have to pitch healthy, right? I got to go out there and I got to pitch 50 times this year. So for me, it was like, what's the best opportunity for me to do that? I think my own bed is a pretty high factor. Yeah. So, and I had amazing memories. My favorite baseball memory I've ever had was winning the National League championship, and that was in a Diamondbacks uniform. So that's going to stick with me the rest of my life. And so that obviously had a little bit of bias in this decision, but I'm super excited to be back here. Roles, I'm here to pitch whenever they tell me to pitch.
Yeah.
Is that going to be late? Maybe. Is it going to be early? It could be. It's dependent on how I throw the ball and how other guys throw the ball. And, AJ and Justin are not going to be back at the beginning of the year, who would be our two best relievers. So everyone's going to have to step up and outperform themselves a little bit until we get those guys back either way.
That's always the best mentality. And you've always been that throughout your career, that the best ability is availability. I want to be available, and I'm here with whatever you guys need me. So I'm not demanding a role. I think that type of guys like you are needed on every single roster, not only because of how good you are, but just the way that you approach the game and the way that you're willing to do whatever it takes, I think is a huge part.
And it could be maybe I'm a better matchup in the 7th inning versus the guys they throw than I would be in the 8th or 9th, where Thompson or Gink would be like, we're here to win games. So, I mean, we're going to do whatever we can to win those games. And Tori and Mike have kind of explained that to me, that you don't have a role right now. You're going to go out there and you're going to pitch, you're going to pitch, and we hope you get outs when we get out there. So that's the only focus.
We know they need you.
We'll have AJ and Justin back soon enough, and that'll be nice.
Hey, Paul, I haven't gone anywhere, so quit saying I'm going to be back, okay? I haven't gone anywhere. I'll be ready for the open of the season, all right? So you have to clarify on this show, Paul, because there's too many AJs in baseball now, so you have to call him Puck, okay? Not AJ, because then I get all confused. I get all ramped up for opening day like I'm going to be out there, but I'm not.
I was going to say, are you in baseball?
I heard you had different nicknames when you were playing.
Yes, exactly. But that's fine. We all have to be called something by our family. It's okay. When I told this story the other day on here, and I hate to go back to this, but when I saw you were in Detroit at the end of last year, and I saw you in Seattle for the postseason run, and you big leagued me, and you walked past me when I tried to say hi to you. But
this guy.
Then you came back like 10 minutes later and apologized. And you said, hey, I just found out I wasn't going to be on the roster. I just wanted to say that I'm not bigger than you. So I told that story, and I just want to say thank you. That was it. I want to say thank you. You didn't have to do that. I totally understood. I've been there. But I just want to say, to me, that was big league of you to come up to me and say, hey, I'm sorry I didn't say hi. And listen, I got it. I understood. But for you to come back, man, thumbs up for me.
This guy. I have my meeting with AJ. He's like, you don't really look healthy. We're not going to go with you. I wasn't 100% healthy. I totally understand the whole perspective. I get the news. I walk past him. That's tough news to get right away, right? And he's like, oh, you're not going to say hi? I apologize, AJ. You were not at the top of my mind in that moment. But I did make sure to come back and say hello. and I did make sure you knew the situation. You are correct. But foul territory, guys, I wouldn't leave you hanging. It was just a difficult 3 minutes of my time.
Foul territory is actually just a front for AJ to confront everybody that's big leagued him before. We just talk about other things till we get to the guests that he can confront.
Yeah,
dude, I told
Fox over there.
I told you, 2 thumbs up, man, for you coming back. I didn't know at the time, and so then when you came back and explained it, listen, you didn't have to say anything to me. I'd never be mad at you for it. It's just more to be able to talk a little shit. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, trust me, I was in that Tigers clubhouse.
Yeah.
I was in that Tigers clubhouse for three games, obviously for 5 days, but in Seattle. And I heard Tommy Kahnle get worn out because college football was on. They wore him out for like the whole time I was standing in there about Notre Dame and about this and about it was like poor Tommy Kahnle. I don't know.
Take it.
I mean,
you had to wear your Irish jersey and your Irish shorts and your Irish socks and your Irish Under Armour shoes, and they go 0-2 in the first 2 games. You deserve everything that comes your way.
Thank you.
And he had his Eagles. The Eagles and the Irish lost like the same weekend, so these guys were just I'm sorry. Yeah, it was great.
We want to get into Notre Dame crybabies during football season this year. We can. That's one topic I can go all day on as Mr. Miami. Okay, I want to get your thoughts on a couple league issues, or I would say rule changes coming up here. So here's 2. The coaches in the box rule, and then we'll go to ABS challenge system. So first off, coaches in the box rule and the tipping paranoia that is taking over baseball with AI incorporated. So your thoughts on that? I mean, some guys are like, it's whatever. It's been going on forever. Then Vinny Pasquantino was on with us when we were at Royals camp, and he's like, hey, you ever see some of the base coaches just not doing anything during the game? Like no signs, not talking to anybody on the bases. They're busy.
Yes. Nobody comes to the field and doesn't do anything. I think it's low key. If you're doing nothing, then you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. The coaches' boxes are there for a reason. And the pitch tipping thing is the most important thing as a pitcher you can worry about. I can do all the stuff on TrackMan, bullpens. I can do all this work. If the hitter knows what's coming, it doesn't really do me any good to make my stuff extra nasty. So, if they can pick something up in the game, I feel like that's pretty fair. You're talking about AI, doing 1,000 models a second to try to figure out if I did something different. Not sure that's totally appropriate, but it's just kind of the world we live in, and you just have to make sure that you are indistinguishable at any moment while you're out there. And I try to think that I do everything off and not consistent anyway. If I'm inconsistently consistent, then I think it can help my chances that they can't pick something up. But the coaches' boxes are there for a reason. I don't really want them down the right field line trying to look in my hand or down the left field line. So we're just trying to keep things fair and make sure that, if I'm tipping, then they can find it from there. That's fine. But let's try to stay within the rules of that sort of situation.
And then for the other rule change, we got the ABS system. Thoughts on that? Do you think that's going to go well? What problems do you see kind of arising from that maybe early on in the league that might get settled down as the season progresses?
Yeah, you and Age earned a different strike zone at the end of your career than you had at the beginning of your career. It's a little devastating for me to have earned that new strike zone and then have it taken away at the very end. The strike zone is a strike zone. It's supposed to be consistent. I think our umpires today are better than they've ever been, especially the guys that are coming up. They've worked really hard to get to that point. I saw one the other day, less than 1/10 of an inch.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit fine to me to call out an umpire. I think the most important thing for me the whole time was somebody sitting on their couch watching a game and having the screen or having the box up there. A lot easier. And they're able to say, umpire A, that's a terrible call, when it's like, look, a 95-mile-an-hour pitch that's moving and you're missing by 1/10 of an inch. I kind of want to give some umpires some grace on that situation. But when it's literally black or white, filled in or clear, that guy at home shouldn't know whether the umpire missed that call or not. If they can tell without the box, an egregious call, that's really what we're looking for. It'll be interesting to see the challenge system. We have, as an organization, our plan for the challenge system in spring training to kind of give it a ride. But 6-7 weeks is tough. I think we're going to need a couple months to try to figure out how that's going to work.
Sure, and I do like the fact that you just said umpires are about as good as they've ever been in this game. They're always trying to get better. I think it's going to be twofold. I like hearing that, and you got to give the umpires credit when they do have good games. And you got to let them know that they are, hey, you might have missed that one, or I understand why you missed that one. That was close. That could go either way. I think there is going to be some good adjustment period for them as well. I think there is going to be not a shame factor to it or something, but if you keep getting second guessed or overruled and you keep finding out that you're getting it wrong, I think there's comes this in-game adjustment now where it's like, hey, maybe I need to fix my zone, and that's kind of we're all just trying to get it right, and it's not the easiest thing to do by any means, but at the end of the day, as long as that's the focus of the hitter, catcher, and the umpire, that we're just trying to get it right, you should be able to find some kind of middle ground between all three.
Which is a good point. I hadn't thought about the in-game adjustment for an umpire. Everyone knows the first couple innings, you're like, look, man, I went back and checked. Those are balls. Let's go, or those are strikes. Come on, let's get it together. Kind of having that feedback maybe in the first 3 innings to try to, you know, get correct for the last 6 is going to be important. I hadn't thought about that. That's good.
Now, you guys probably just covered both of these in the players meeting that you guys had this morning. When you have a important meeting like such, where I'm sure you covered a big ground of topics, especially with stuff that's going on, but you cover these new rules. How much do you look at some of the younger players and younger pitchers on the staff? If they're engaged in the meeting, do they understand what's going on? Do they understand the changes that are being made?
I think it's really intimidating for a younger guy to participate in those meetings, and I can't blame them. I wasn't one to participate in those meetings at that age. I think for me, it's more asking these AAA guys what the challenge system looks like, what that ABS looks like.
They might know more than you.
They have a lot more. They have a lot more understanding of what that looks like than me. I have thrown in 4 or 5 games in rehab games with that ABS. I don't know what that looks like. For me, it's like, you guys know what that's supposed to look like. Like, let's talk about, what kind of pitches are you seeing that maybe cross, that they call strikes, or that we miss, and we can kind of try to figure that out. That's not going to change how I throw pitches, but just kind of having a general understanding of how that's maybe going to work.
Sure.
Or the catchers talking to other catchers of like, hey, this is what I've really succeeded in my challenges versus, stuff that I've missed.
Thanks. Fair.
Paul, before we let you go, I want to know, how's the golf game? You're in Arizona. Arizona all spring. You threw a hard bullpen today. It's noon there. Where's the tee time and how's the golf game?
Well, you just had Merrill Kelly on. He's having a little side tightness thing. That's my golfing partner. So the golfing game has been a little limited at this point. But, we're just trying to get back in there and make sure we can throw in games. But it's a long season. We got a little bit of time to play. We got a lot of, it's nice here. We probably have to make the most of the next 2 months because it won't be so great towards the middle of the year. But, I moved here, so now it's not really an issue. It's kind of one of those things where I've gotten plenty of Arizona golf. But we got some road trips. We got some off days. We'll be just fine. I'll find a place to play. I don't have a problem with that.
That blood will thin out. You'll get used to the heat a little bit more. You'll be able to play in a little bit more conditions.
Well, he's got daddy duty too, right?
True.
The fam's there, right?
That's true. I mean, you got 2 of them at this point. Got to get the second one into school pre-K, and then it's really just got to just take off. Just drop them off and head right up to play in the morning. Pick them up on the way back. Mama's free. Like, it's totally good.
Yes, that's the good stuff. Paul, we always really enjoy this. Good to see you, and good luck the rest of camp here. We'll catch you during the season, of course, all right?
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Appreciate you. Be right back, FT fam. Hey, when you're keeping the lights on for thousands or even millions, reliability isn't optional. Fastenal helps power generation teams stay running with the right parts, tools, and safety gear right where the work happens.
From turbine maintenance to everyday MRO needs, our local teams and on-site solutions keep your crews supplied, efficient, and safe. Fastenal, powering up productivity one plan at a time.
Want to learn more? Visit Fastenal.com for industrial supplies and innovative solutions. That's FASTENAL.com. We covered Scherzer earlier. That's a major league contract for him with the Blue Jays. Minor league signing for the Yankees, also around that same time period that it was reported. 1 year, $2.5 million if he makes the major league team, talking about Randall Grichuk. And the Yankees were looking for a right-handed power bat outfielder, supposedly to play a little left field against lefties instead of Grisham. They'd sit him and move Bellinger over to center field. So this one has a pretty legit chance to stick. I think the minor league deal gives the Yankees the flexibility, AJ, to just make sure that he looks like himself. I mean, from 2022 to 2024, his OPS against left-handed pitching, 941. That was 9th best in baseball. Last year, that number plunged to 703. So you see him maybe for a few weeks in camp. Yankees are analytic nerds. They go, okay, the bat speed and this and that is looking like it did. And then if that's good, he makes the team.
Who plays center field for the Yankees? Grisham, left-handed. Who plays left field for the Yankees?
Belly,
left-handed. Mm-hmm. Dominguez, where's he play?
Probably AAA now.
Well, but he was a better. Which side of the plate was he better on?
He was better
left-handed, wasn't
left-handed,
he? Right. So this gives them protection for when they face those lefties.
Mm-hmm.
If someone needs a day off, or they want to give someone a break, and he can play center field, and he can play left field. So this is a perfect signing for a team to come in and help build their roster to be not only great against right-handed pitching, but also great against left-handed pitching.
Well, and Belly and Grisham can play center. So you figure Grisham.
Well, yes, but if you need to give someone a day off, you want Belly, maybe Belly's banged up and you need to give him a DH day.
Or if a first baseman gets hurt and then he needs to play first.
Yeah. There's a million different options.
Yes.
And maybe lefties, you don't want to use somebody, let's say Stanton can't play and you don't want to use Ben Rice, you can put him at DH. Like this is a depth signing. That's a nice signing.
Agreed. Yeah. And this is a guy who many thought was going to get a major league contract, ends up having to wait a while, and still will make himself close to $3 million if he makes the team. Mm-hmm. So it's just a little bit of a prove-it situation for a few weeks during spring training to see if he breaks camp. On that front, we've got a guy that we want to talk to see, when we'll see him consistently in the bigs. So let's get to him right now out in Arizona. We've got Ryan Waldschmidt joining us. Ryan, great to have you on the show. Really appreciate the time. Want to get into your story and some Florida roots. So you're going to make the guy sitting next to me very happy. But before all of that, how's camp? And tell us about your chances of cutting it with the big league team here.
Camp's been great so far. Really getting to know the guys, getting a lot more comfortable around everyone. Early on, you're the new guy around the clubhouse and getting to know everyone. You're a little nervous at first, but we're a week in now, and I feel like I'm getting along with everyone very well, and everything's getting more comfortable. The games are getting more comfortable at the plate, in the field. I try not to think about too much about the chances of making the team. I kind of just go out there every day and play hard and play aggressive and just see what happens. And that's something out of my control. So I just try and keep my mind off of it and just do what it takes to help the team win and see what happens at the end of the day.
Ryan, as a young guy in camp, has anyone been mean to you? Has anyone been just so mean to you and treated you poorly?
Because we could fly AJ in if you need.
No, not yet. Not yet. I have not had any altercations here at camp so far. Everyone's been very friendly and taking me in with open arms, so I'm very grateful for that.
Do you know everyone's name? Do you know everybody's name?
I do.
Even the clubhouse guys, the trainers, the traveling, the director of team travel. You can't call him the traveling secretary anymore.
Of course. I make that a emphasis of trying to make sure I know everyone's name. And in the mornings when I walk in, I try and greet everyone that I walk past. It's just something little that can make everyone's day, and it means a lot at the end of the day if you know someone's name and you're able to hold a conversation with them daily. And I think that just means a lot to me as a person, not even as a player or just in general being around the facility, just as a person. I take pride in just kind of getting to know everyone around me and just being able to have conversations with them.
Okay, do me a favor. Turn around and just wave to Corbin for me. He's behind you running, so just wave. Just say, hi, Corbin, when he runs.
Hey, Corbin.
Yeah,
look good up there, man.
Yeah, exactly. But you want to know what that is? You want to know why you're so nice and you say hi to everybody? Because you were born in Florida. You were raised in Florida. So that's why. So when Kip gives you crap, when Scott gives you crap, that's why. Because us Florida people, we're from the South and we're nice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
100%.
We were raised the right way.
Yep.
That's debatable. Highly debatable. But you got a great minor league season under your belt, smashing the baseball, but you even mentioned a quote where you started to make the game a little bit bigger than it had to be. Mm-hmm. Did you find, as you went up through the ladders, you think single A is the next show for you, but you get there, the game slows down, you're like, oh, I can do this, I can play with these guys. Double A, same way, get up to Triple A. What are you going to take then from that going into this year? How are you going to approach the game? Are you going to try to make it the same from game 1 to game 162 if it gets there? Or are you going to, because sometimes it's good, sometimes to have that energy and to ride that kind of the adrenaline for each match. But what are you taking from last year and what are you using for this year?
Yeah, I think last year that I'm going to bring into this year is just kind of just being where your feet are.
Great.
There's a lot of times where you can look to the future and say, like, the what ifs. If I do this, I can get to this place. I think that just takes you out of yourself. I think I've done that a couple of times. Right when I got to Double A, I struggled for a couple of weeks early, and I think it was really because I went out of myself.
Built it up to be too much.
I tried to do too much. I tried to prove that I belonged, and at the end of the day, you're there for a reason, and you're at that level because you're supposed to be there. And I think I realized that pretty quickly, and just kind of tapped back into what I do best, and just being myself and just simplifying the game again. I think a lot of my strengths come with simplicity. I think controlling the zone is something that I'm very good at, and I think that's something that I have a lot of control over. Swing decisions, something that you control. It's not the umpire calling balls and strikes. It's something that you control, and I think a lot of that comes into play when the game does get to be sped up a little bit on you. It's going back to just the simple things and doing what you can control, and I think a lot of that comes down to just your effort and your attitude, and I think I'm going to bring that into this season as well. Just that positive attitude of just being where my feet are and doing what it takes to win where I'm at. And just wherever that may be, whether it's in the big leagues, whether it's AAA, AA, whatever that might be, just kind of being where your feet are and just working to get better each day. And I have a quote from my college coach that I always bring with me every day. It's everything expires at midnight. So whether it's a good game, whether it's a bad game,
Is this Mingione?
It is Mingione. You get a couple hours after the game. Game might end at 10 o'clock. You have from 10 till midnight to reflect on whatever you did that day, whether you want to celebrate your successes or whether you want to dwell on some of the failures you might have had that day or the losses that you took. But as soon as 12 o'clock hits, it's a new day. So then you move on, and it's a start another day, and you just get back to work again.
Ryan, hold up. Before we go on, the guy sitting next to you, did you know he went to Kentucky for 1 year and then transferred out? So you transferred in. So that's why he didn't know that quote, because the coach at Kentucky didn't give him that quote because he left. And and then versus you, who actually went there to play.
I didn't know that quote because he was like, Mingione was the bottom assistant and wasn't allowed to talk yet.
No, because you were too good. Chip was too good to talk to the third assistant. See, if you were from Florida,
first off,
you would know
I
his
redshirted.
name.
I redshirted, so I clearly wasn't too good. And then I got kicked off, then made it back on, and then got kicked off again. But yeah, me and you could, even if you talk to him, me and Mingione never saw eye to eye is the nicest way to put it, I guess, that way. But it is a fantastic quote. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I want to hint back on what you said earlier. It's not, you're so consumed trying to prove yourself that you belong, mm-hmm. that you forget that you already do, or that you forget that you're there for a reason, that your organization's behind you. They've moved you up for a reason. Whether you believe it or not, they think you're ready. Yep. So I think I really like that you're already kind of recognizing that like, it's not whether I don't need to prove myself that I belong here. By getting there, you've already proven yourself that you belong there.
For sure.
All right, so I've got one. I think you're the perfect person to ask this to because you had a banger of a season last year, and you've continued to develop at the plate, right? And on the cusp of the big leagues, we often point to organizations that do a really good job of developing pitching talent. You know, we've talked, it's a national show, right? So we've talked about the Rays and the Guardians and the Brewers and some of these teams that'll take a guy or they'll develop guys and they just become great pitching talents. I actually think we need to focus on what Arizona's doing on the hitting side of things and would love to get your thoughts on where you think the secret sauce is. They've done a really good job of developing prospects and turning them into big leaguers, and then also bringing guys over and making them even better. So, and that's why they've had one of the better offenses in baseball over the last few years. So what do you have for us? Like, what have you personally seen from them that's helped you and that's helped the organization pump out many players to be big league regulars or even stars on the lineup?
Yeah, I think they do an amazing job on just kind of the communication aspect of it. I came in with a good feel of what I do at the plate and why I do those things, and we have conversations about it. There's never a time where the coach is like, I want you to do this, and you're going to do this, and we're not going to talk about it. You're going to figure out how to do the way I'm telling you to do this. Here, it's a lot of ask questions. I think a lot of guys ask questions on why we do things, and it really allows you to just fully understand what they're trying to get you to do, and you can grasp the reasoning behind it. And I think when you have that, it allows you to really understand what your plan is at the plate and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. So your drill work, BP, game swings, whatever it might be. And I think that's huge because there's no cookie cutter way that they're trying to make us. Every single one of us have different swings. Every single one of us have different setups. And we talk through everything that we're doing. And I think that's huge when it comes down to it because nobody's bodies move the same. Nobody's strengths are the same as each other. Everyone has different weaknesses. Everyone has different strengths. Our plans might be different at the plate. I think Arizona does a great job at recognizing that we're not all going to be going up to the plate with the same approach. We're not all going to be swinging at the same pitches. But as long as us as players understand what our plan is and how to execute that plan, I think that really allows each and every one of us to do our jobs and allows each and every one of us to excel to the level that we're trying to reach every day.
Hey, last one for you. On the big league club, who do you talk to right now? Like, who's a go-to guy for you? Is there anyone kind of offering more time, gracious with their time? You've got some pretty veteran names there. Yeah,
obviously Corbin's not around as much right now just because he's getting that rehab in and just trying to get ready back for opening day. But, AT and Jordan and even Barossa too, all three of them have been really influential to me so far early in camp. They had time, maybe if it's not a ton of time in the big leagues, they're really just showing me the ropes and just how to just navigate what's going on. And even Jordan too, fresh in the outfield, he's asked questions to me, and it's very cool to see someone that's in the big leagues, and I haven't made a debut or anything yet, but he's asking questions to me on how he can get better in the outfield. And I'm asking Alec questions about how I can get better jumps and what to do on defense, stuff like that. And those, at least for outfielders, have been really good so far for me to talk to. And even Gurriel too, he's starting to make his way back out there after his ACL surgery, and he's a great energy guy to have around, and it really allows you to play relaxed and be loose out there when we're doing our work, because he's a veteran and he can do what he wants whenever, and he doesn't have to take the time to necessarily talk to me and teach me things, but he's been really cool out there to have, and it really just allows me to think again, it's just a game, and you're supposed to have fun with it, and it's really cool to see a guy like Gurriel go out there and just kind of have the happy medium of knowing when he needs to be locked in and get his work in, but then also the time where you can relax and kind of talk to each other and have a good time out there.
I love that.
Ryan, by the way, the fact that you just said Alec Thomas is like a veteran, he was like a little shit kid running around the clubhouse when I was with the White Sox. Right? I mean, now he's like, oh, look at this veteran. I'm like, oh my gosh, how old am I?
4 or 5 years in the bigs now, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The other day, we actually were joking around. We were out there, and Gurriel wasn't out there, and we were talking, and I think the oldest guy we had in the outfield through like the 9 of us was like 26 years old. So we really had nobody out there that was necessarily even considered a veteran at this point. Everyone's pretty young, so it's a pretty cool core of young guys that we got out there.
Yeah, it's a young man's game. Ryan, great to chat with you. Appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of spring, all right?
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Be right back for Slap. All right. Oh, we're going to throw it to our Out of the Park 2027 little thing that we've got going on. We got a trailer for you. Let's run it.
Legends live in Out of the Park Baseball 27. The brand new edition of the renowned baseball strategy game enjoyed by fans around the world is here. The newest and biggest version of Out of the Park Baseball is packed with loads of features and improvements, including all new advanced stats tracking. Changes the game forever. Play the real World Baseball Classic as it happens. Out of the Park Baseball 27 is here. The Infinite Baseball Sandbox. Available March 13th, 2026.
There you go. So it's coming up, but pre-orders are now, right? So it officially launches worldwide March 13th, but the pre-orders are already happening, 10% off if you go grab it now. So go check it out, and the QR code on the screen can help you out as well.
Can we do another sim, me versus Todd?
I would love to.
Remember that when I did that one time?
I'm an OTP nerd. Yeah, that was really fun. And you did your best White Sox team against his best Reds team.
I think I ended up hitting like a walk, like a home run late in the game. Todd was so pissed. I'm like, should have walked me, Todd.
Yeah. And that's the decision making that you can do.
Was it?
Yes. So
that's right.
OTP 27 is really cool. Yeah, I'll put that in the list. Maybe we do a rematch or pick someone else. Someone else's best team going up against your 05 White Sox to see if anybody can stop them.
We know Kip can't win, so that's out.
Because his best team's 2016.
Okay.
They made it to the World Series.
We don't talk about that with Jason. We don't talk about that.
About the World Series. I mean, he made the
We don't
World
talk
Series.
about that.
Yes, we can. We can talk about it. All right, then let's go to Slap Hands because we got a minute left. two things to do here in Slap. Number one, there was this article put out by Randy Miller with some quotes from Giancarlo Stanton that he's going to try and play, obviously, as much as he can this year, but he can't open a bag of chips. He can't open a bottle, like a bottle cap. He's that much pain from his elbows. What would they call it? Tennis elbow or whatever? So I'm like, how? It's hard for, okay, take me, right? No hitting skills. It's hard to hear from one of the strongest dudes that he can't open a soda bottle or a bag of chips and he can hit rockets. What's
not
going
ideal.
on?
It's not what you want to hear going into the season. As players, you literally design and shape your body for the motions of the game. So I think the rest of his body is built to do the swinging motion. I think that's all the Yankees really need out of him is to be able to swing, but don't love hearing that quote going into a season where you're counting on this guy or to give you maybe 400, 500, 400 at bats at least, but it's just that can't be a good sign, AJ, going into the season.
Kip, I never heard of such a thing. I'm sorry. I just never heard. I never heard of such a thing. You can't open. So it'd be like,
yeah, I know. I don't.
You can't do this, or you can't open a bag of chips.
But then you can go whoosh.
But you can go whoa, because then how do you get your extension? Like your elbows are moving when you swing. It's not like you just stand there and go, and they never move. Like you got to get extension. I don't know. Listen, if he can do it, good for him. But the only thing I can say is adrenaline. Adrenaline kicks in, and he's got those 5 at bats a game where he gets maybe 5 to 10 swings a game, and for those 5 to 10 swings, he just guts it out.
Cortisone.
I don't
and
know.
If I'm on the IL too, I'm opening a lot of bag of chips and some bottles. So it's going to be a rough go for him then.
You might be able to do it differently too, like with your swing where it's like woof to open the bag of chips.
I don't know. If he opens it with his teeth, I don't like that. I'm not one of those guys.
No,
teeth are tools. Teeth are tools, Kip.
They are tools. I'm just saying I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah, he's got the pearly whites. He's good. He's probably got the nice veneers in there too. Yeah, knowing Big G, he takes care of the smile. But hope he feels better. Legitimately, we're having a little fun with it. But I mean, for Yankee fans, that definitely doesn't sound great. You'd rather have a guy that's not in that kind of pain. So we'll keep an eye on it. Fastenal engineering the spring training tour. Kip's taken over here for one more day. AJ will be back next week in Florida. Kip's got the San Francisco Giants to visit tomorrow, Friday. So we'll hang with some Giants. If you have any players that you'd like us to request, no promises, but we'll try. Then next week, Cardinals, Marlins, Mets, Nats, Astros. All you need to know basically is we're hitting every team in Florida besides the Yankees for reasons that we'll get into another time. Foul Territory engineered by Fastenal. Kip, good stuff. We'll see you on Friday at Giants camp.
Bye, guys.